What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a couple of things to talk about with the Chicago Bulls, injury updates, as well as what the Bulls could plan to do for some of these guys, considering that we are now officially in the NBA playoffs and we will not participate in the play-in tournament. So we got a lot to talk about today. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the current Chicago Bulls injury situation. Do you think some players will rest up in terms of the last 3 games of the season, or do you think that we can end up continuing seeing the guys that we currently see? Whatever the case may be, feel free to let me know, as well as the Lonzo Ball situation. That's going to be the first thing that we talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Lonzo Ball. There are quite a few number of people that have finally opened up about Lonzo Ball, and I can honestly say with 100% certainty that none of it is good news for the Chicago Bulls. So I want to talk about tweets that occurred from Casey Johnson, Shams, and obviously Woj as well. 3 different people speaking about the Chicago Bulls guard, and I have to say it's very similar stuff compared to each other, because of course it's the same piece of news. So the first thing I want to talk about with is what Woj said, basically. And basically what Woj said, I believe this was 12 hours ago, so a really long time ago from now, is that the final decision for Lonzo Ball, he has to meet more, I guess, medical staff in terms of his knee, because he's still feeling some discomfort, ladies and gentlemen, which is very bad sign. But there's less and less likelihood that we will see Lonzo Ball this season. And then obviously Casey Johnson, Shams, and Woj then again tweeted after that it's very likely that Lonzo Ball will miss the remainder of the season due to his left knee. Again, this is terrible news for the Chicago Bulls, but I think many of us have come to accept and kind of understand where we are at the moment. I think many people thought by the time the regular season ended, a lot of us probably didn't even want to see Lonzo Ball in the playoffs regardless, because he's going to come in there and he has to get adjusted to how the playoffs are. So it's a very hard situation to put yourself in. Now, I personally will always and still continue to believe if Lonzo Ball will end up becoming healthy and we're still in the playoffs, we should see Lonzo Ball. I will always be the guy. I'm not going to disagree on that just because now it's less likely that he's going to be there. But if he can be healthy and it's not going to affect him long term, I'd love to see Lonzo Ball in the playoffs if we're still there. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and I've always said I would prefer the man first in terms of injuries, so get well soon to Lonzo. It's a big loss not having him. We've missed him since that Boston Celtics game, I believe it was, and we've got Boston in a couple of hours now as well, so a really upsetting time for the Chicago Bulls. I can't lie, your starting point guard not returning for you after we've been waiting for so long to see him as well, and knowing what this team could fully be when it's complete, it's devastating in many ways. But we still have a long future with Lonzo Ball as a Chicago Bull. Let's not get too concerned or too down on ourselves now. This is the first playoff experience we're going to experience in about 7 years or whatever it is. So there's still a lot to be thankful for. There's still a lot to be happy about if you're a Bulls fan. Obviously, it's still just a very upsetting moment if you're a Lonzo Ball fan, or if you just really want to see him play for the Chicago Bulls again. Now let's talk about a couple of things that Billy Donovan said after the Milwaukee Bucks game. So obviously, things like DeMar DeRozan said he's very honored to be in the NBA playoffs. Again, a lot of people, it's starting to become a reality now. It's settled in. The Bulls are going to be in the NBA playoffs this season. Billy Donovan said something very interesting about when it comes to rest and if players will be resting or not. And basically what Billy Donovan said in this instance is that if players come to him and want a rest or feel like they need some time off, that will be the priority for the Chicago Bulls heading into the NBA playoffs. But he also said it's his belief and Arturas's belief that if it's best that everybody can stay playing together so we can get some rhythm in the NBA playoffs. I have a couple of things to say to that. First off, I'd love to see this team continue to play. Again, especially guys like Patrick Williams, for an example. He just came back. I'd hate to see him take some time off now, considering how well he's been playing. And I do think guys like Kobe White need a little bit of more games to get into rhythm, because he's been struggling recently for the Chicago Bulls. But guys like Vucevic, guys like DeRozan, guys like, again, maybe Alex Caruso, that's been has back contusions and also has wrist issues and stuff like that. I can completely understand taking time off, but it's going to have to be a mix and match, I guess. We're going to have to wait and see which players are going to approach the coaching staff for time off and which one of them will end up continue to play. and we'll just have to wait and see if the team comes first for many of these guys as well. Again, nagging injuries and stuff like that. We do have a week off after the end of the regular season as well for the play-in games, so again, there will be more time for the Chicago Bulls, but I guess this is just another added bonus for the Bulls. If we, let's just say, can't change our seed, maybe we'll rest everybody. But while we still have that opportunity, I think a lot of guys will be willing to play for the Chicago Bulls in this recent stretch. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this piece of news as well. This is big news for the Chicago Bulls. We could potentially see a very different team heading into the last few games of the regular season, and then we could also see a very different team in the NBA playoffs as well. I do think Zach LaVine now, it's time for him to rest for the rest of the season. He has had nagging, constant knee soreness, and it's not going to get better if we're just going to keep on using him to the point where it might not be a good part of the NBA playoffs for him. So I think personally, he should not play the back-to-backs. For example, we've got another back-to-back with our last 2 games. If he plays against Boston, I'm not going to complain about it. But if he's going to play between the next game against the Hornets and the Minnesota game, I don't want to see that happen whatsoever. I want to see Zach LaVine rest now for those back-to-backs. I don't want to see him participate on a back-to-back basis. Get as much rest as he possibly can. And we'll see what the playoffs, we'll see what that week off, we'll see what everything holds for the Chicago Bulls. Keep in mind, when I say Lonzo Ball is less likely or is not likely, that doesn't mean it's a guarantee. The Bulls have not guaranteed that Lonzo Ball will miss the regular season. It's very unlikely now, and we've all faced that reality. We've all come to accept it by now, in my opinion. But that small chance of hope is still there for the Chicago Bulls. And we saw things like this already in the regular season. Derrick Jones Jr., in my opinion, was supposed to be one of the last guys to return in the regular season. And all of a sudden, in a random game in February, I believe, he's back for the Chicago Bulls. And he is doing well, and he still has a hurt finger, but he's playing through it. So again, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Lonzo, because I think Lonzo's injury is a little bit more than that, but also it's not impossible either. So we'll have to wait and see, but again, less unlikely by the day. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. I do have something to say as well. There's a good chance I'm going to miss at least the first half of the Boston Celtics game, so my game reaction might not be the best as it can be in tomorrow's game against Boston, or a couple of hours for you guys. I sincerely apologize for that. Obviously, things have come in the way that I can't control, so it is what it is. Life happens. Sometimes you can't always be there to watch the Bulls games. I will be watching the second half for sure, and there will be a chance that I could watch most of the Boston and Bulls game, but there's a good chance I'm going to miss some of it as well. I'm just letting you guys know that now, just in case you're wondering. If I say something that doesn't necessarily reflect well on the game, you can let me know in that game reaction. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.